Is it a foregone conclusion that Shinzo Abe will win that third consecutive term?
I believe so, but of course, any election till its ends, you shouldn't really predict anything. So I will be cautious, but I believe that Prime Minister Abe will continue.
Now, you're in support of
Yes,
Mr.
of course,
Abe. And why is that? And how has he bounced back from the cronyism scandal and some other negativity in his low poll numbers?
I think the people, if you ask on the street, economy is good. And I think his handling of diplomacy is excellent. So there is no reason much to ask him to change. If you look at the world leaders like Mr. Putin or Prime Minister Merkel, all this long-term leadership is sort of the necessary trend in the world politics, I believe. So as for one, I believe the continuation of Prime Minister Abe is the national interest for Japan at this moment.
So
very
stability.
fluid international situation.
Stability is more important because you've had a revolving door of prime ministers.
We had a bad experience there. Although I think it's really a healthy thing for the LDP to have a competition constantly. So it's really an important thing to have the competition within the party, among the parties.
What's happening with the opposition, though? They've crumbled since the last snap election last year. So he's really unopposed on the other side of the aisle, but also within his own party. With Shigeru Ishiba, not really giving him much of a fight, is he?
Although I think depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't really.
You shouldn't comment on him.
I don't want to prejudge what's the outcome. Really.
Sure, absolutely. What should, if he does win another mandate, what should his priorities be in his third consecutive term, Mr. Abe?
I think if he wins, or any prime minister wins, I would say social welfare reform and economy. Over this Prime Minister Abe's term of these 6 years, we have the huge increasement in the GDP, 60 trillion yen. Now that the 490 trillion to 550. It's like a 20% increasement. And we have the inbound 3 times more. And then that is good, but we have to have the real growth, the trajectory going on. So that's necessary. The other thing is unpopular but very necessary reform is welfare.
Right.
The biggest challenge for Japan is shrinking population with aging. Right? We have to have more babies. And then the young people has to have the assurance that this social welfare system will continue.
Yeah, so if you're going to charge me more in value-added tax to pay for that, we need to see results.
Right, and then Prime Minister Abe, he made an interview before coming into this election term that he will pursue the reform to encourage more elderly. The Japanese elderly people are really active, healthy. So I'll ask those elderly people if he or she is possible coming into the workforce rather than being in a receiver of the welfare, and make it a more sustainable social welfare system and more shift to the younger generation.
Should that be more of a priority than constitutional reform? You are on the committee for the Constitution.
Yes.
Will he push this hard?
I think so, because it is one of the very precious opportunity in the Diet's history that you have the 2/3 majority of the congressmen who are ready to talk about and consider about the constitutional reform, and both on the upper house and lower house. Japanese constitution is extremely hard to change. Yeah. So this is the rare opportunity, and then Prime Minister Abe and LDP has discussion on this constitutional reform.
But social welfare reform more important right now than constitutional
maybe
reform, according to you.
Maybe it's difficult to judge, which is more important than that. Yeah. All are important. Yep. But I think the both are urgent.